Welcome to Let's Create an Omni-Report running on any table. Hey, I'm Eric, and for some reason, I don't know why, over the last week I've twice run into the same challenge, issue, whatever, where I kind of needed to create something in BC where a user could select a table and then the something will run through whatever is in that table and do something, and at the same time kind of give a request page feel for things. So I did it with a report, and I thought that might be an interesting topic here, because creating a report, normally when you create a report you define the data set, and the data set is kind of locked into to whatever you choose. But sometimes, I know some of my stuff is weird and it's running on all tables and stuff like that, but maybe you want to do something that can run both on posted sales documents and sales on posted documents, or running both on vendors and customers or stuff like that. So that's what we're going to try to do here today. I have fired up the old trusty Visual Studio Code here, and I've kind of started a new report. So normally we so there are kind of two types of reports here, to be honest. We have the processing only, which almost like you could have another object type called a batch job instead, but a report with processing only just runs through the data, so that's kind of your batch report. So setting that to processing only, let's give it a name, because that's how we are nice citizens here. Omni-Report. So normally we would define a data set, right? And add in a data item, customer table, and that's all good. But maybe we don't want to do that today. So instead, we just want to run on anything. So let's put the data set aside for a bit here. And sometimes when you're building something new, it kind of helps thinking about what is the user experience, how are we going to approach this. So the first thing that happens, if we run this report, this is a totally acceptable report. We can run it. I hit F5. And great, I can click OK, and I can even schedule this report, but in reality nothing's there. But there is still something here, so we already have something. So the natural piece would be that we let the user select the table, right? So let's do that. Let's make the user select the table, and the way we do that is that we go to and create the request page, and on the request page we add a layout, and in the layout we add an area. I think we can even go in and say caption Omni-Report for everything here. I think setting a caption on the request page will actually not do anything useful. Interesting. In that case, let's get rid of that. Okay, so we need to select a table. So let's create a global variable called table number. That's an integer. We insert that here. Table, boom. Let's quickly add a application area up here. So that's taken care of. Do we want to get creative here? And so maybe if there's time, we could go back and make sure that you can look up this field. But let's just select something. So now we are already there. No, not really, but now I can select that I want this to run on table 18. So the next thing is that we need to be able to set filters on table 18, and we could go generic filter 1, but that's gonna be weird. So what we can do instead is that we can use a construct called the filter page builder. So let's do a view string here. That's a text. So we will maybe we'll actually do this slightly more sophisticated. So we'll do no, let's do the view string. I think that's probably best. So let's insert the view string here. So what is a view string? A view string is kind of what if we're building something in the data set and we're setting where field one or where numbers equal filter or stuff like that, a string that represents a set of filters. So if we on this one add an assist edit, and then let's do create the builder. So this one is a filter page builder. And what can we do with the filter page builder? We can add information to it. We can do a lot of things here. We can set a caption. Let's actually just set a caption first. Select, and now we selected something up here. So maybe we should have a representation. We need a representation of data in this one. So let's add a record ref. So up here, whenever we trigger on validate, we select something here, then we go ref dot open table number. So now we have a representation of that table. I know if right now if we do this twice, it will say that this one is already open and so on. So if we can do something like if xrec, there's no okay, we would have something saying that this was open, so we need to close it again. We'll only type one right now to make it simple. So now we can do select .ref plus name as the caption here. We need to add the record. So now we have actually the record because we have ref. So we can do add record. And we'll do ref.name, comma, and then we need to add a record :table. And this is where this is where there's the record to use in the filter control, not record ref, adds a filter control for a table to a filter page. So if we pass ref here, it's not gonna lie because you cannot convert from a record ref to a table. No. And again, this is weird where the type is table. The type is not record. The type is table. So what we can actually cheat. So we can create a variant now, and then we can say that variant v is equal our record ref, and now we pass the variant, and it's happy. Because a variant is a table, but a record ref is not a table. Yeah, roll with it. Yeah, that's kind of weird. What we should also do here is that, let's say that we are clicking on, so what I'm saying is that if we want to be proper, then we will actually need to do a set view command on this one, and set view on the table, and then we pass the view string we have. So if you click on it again, whatever you had selected before, you select again. So that's probably a good idea. So now we can do if builder dot run modal, which in this case not compared to other run mode commands that returns an action. This one returns a boolean. But hey, so if they clicked OK, then actually let's try it out. Let's see where we are right now. I select table 18, I hit my assist edit, and I get, because this one is blank, so I think we need to, if this around, that only if view string is different, does have a value, right? Then we can do this. I select customer, I hit this, boom. So now we can set filters here, right? Balance due different from 0. That's pretty nice, but nothing happened. So we can set filters, but now we need to actually do something here. The way we do this is very simple. We do view string equal builder got get view, and there's parameter here, and that was, again, that's just the table, the name of our table. And then there's the use names. So there are two sets of view strings in the world of Business Central. There are the with names and without names. So you can have a completely view string that says field 1 equal something, and then you have one where it does not say field 1, but it just say number, for instance. And there are some cases where you cannot pass the named version. So if we go with, actually let's go with the name version right now, but there are some cases where that will break. So the other one is super safe to use, and in a lot of cases it's shorter. So let's do this. Now we got the view string here. So we'll do 18 again. We select this one. I add a filter for balance different from 0. Okay. Boom. So now we have something, right? We actually know something. It's kind of weird with the version bit. So what I usually do is that I say, replace version 1 and a space with nothing. Wow. So let's do this again. 18, like this. We add a filter, amount. I'm not even sure what amount is on the customer table. Balance different from 0. That looks nice. We can again discuss whether you want sorting or not, but you get that. So now we have selected the table. We have selected the records within the table we want to use. So how do we now run the report on this one? So we have we have a ref, so we have something that we can run on. We have the table. We know the table. We have the filters. One thing that I found that was very nice to have was to add a kind of a helper here and do ref.count. Select the records, so we add in a counter field. So let's try that again. The record is not open. Haha! So now we have a problem because now it wants to use the ref and we have not, ref is not something yet. So maybe we need to do a rec count instead. As an integer, and then just do rec count here, and after this okay, this gives us another opportunity. Now we have the view string, right? What we can do is that we can do ref.setView and we pass the view string. So at this point, rec count equal ref.count. We could also, at the point here where we're opening, we can do rec count equal ref.count. So let's see how that works. Did I type rec somewhere where I meant ref? There you go. Maybe I should call it ref count. If I do 18, we have 21 customers. I want to run my thing and saying balance not 0. Now I have 5 customers. So this thing works pretty well. If you're one of those people, you could start typing your own filter here, or you can make the filter not read only, and then only have your users use the ellipsis and the assist edit. Okay, so that's pretty nice. So how do we do this? Well, there are 2 options. We can, if we're in processing only, there are 2 options. If we're processing only, we can get rid of the data set. We do not need the data set for anything. We can go and then we can say trigger and use the so on init report, that is when the report is loaded. So that's getting called on open page kind of. So that's too early. Post report is too late. On pre-rendering, that's also too late. It runs when the report dataset has been finalized. So we have the on pre-report, runs before a report is run. And the messaging here is slightly confusing. So I think this should probably say runs when a report is started, when report processing started. Anyway, so at the beginning. So here we could simply do that if ref.find set, then begin, repeat until ref.next equals 0, and do the thing. Right. That's we can do that. We can do stuff, right? Ref dot field 1 dot value. Here, let's try this. I do 18. We add the what was it? Balance not 0, 5. Boom. There you go. If I run this again and I do 23, so now we're in vendor. and we do balance not 0. So there are 8 vendors. Now there's 5. So we get well, the same numbers, but you get the point now. First we ran the report on customers. Now we ran the same thing on vendor. Okay, but maybe you actually wanna print. So maybe on pre-report is not what you want to do. So maybe we need the data set. So what is the data set? Well, the data set has to be something, let's call it records. And simply use the integer table. So now, this one, if we just ran this now this will run for from -2 billion to +2 billion. So that's kind of not what we want. So we need to tell this to do something. So before we start doing something here, we need to filter ourselves. So we can do records.zRange on the number field from number 1 to, what did we call it? Rec count. And then we can do, let's try a trigger here and do trigger on after get record. The challenge is now that in reality now we need to replicate the iteration that happens in here. So we would start by doing ref.find set. And actually that would be too late because then we have already, so we need to, the first time we hit on after get record. So we can do instead, and we can do if number, let's do records dot number equal 1. That means that this is the first time we get here. We'll do ref.find set. Else we'll do ref.next. So now I'm just not encapsulating these in any if this works, because this should always work because we are within the numbers. So now we can message. Let's do format. You know that if you format a record ref, you just get the a tab separated version of the entire record. So let's try this, see if it works. I'll do 18 again. I don't want to click 21 times, so we do balance not 0. We get 5. We click OK. There's a datum, tray, school, Alpine, really cloud, and boom. So if we wanted to print, if we actually wanted to print, now we could do that simply by adding adding columns here. So of course there's different ways of doing it. So we could do ref dot field 1 dot value. Wow. But this doesn't work because this is a joker, and the joker is not a value. You cannot have a random type. So we can convert them all to text. That would be happy, or we can be more clever. But now there's a data set, right? So if we remove processing only, hit F5, Actually, let's make this slightly more interesting. I have no idea if this works, by the way. So, and now we 25 minutes in. So now we're just goofing. Bonus contents, I guess. In customer, the name field is 2. In vendor, I'm totally cheating right now. Vendor name field is also 2. That would work. So let's add a column more here. So column 2, field 2. So now the data set is field 1 and field 2. And you see, now we can print. So I do table 18. We do the filter again because that's why we're here. We got 5. Send to Excel. Somewhere with customers. We run it again. We do vendor. We set a filter. We send to Excel. Somewhere we get a new Excel opened there. And now we have Excel with vendors. I don't know where the first one went. Here. That's an Omni-Report. That was a label I just came up with in order to explain what I was doing. But for me, it solved 2 completely different issues this week where I needed to do processing on at runtime determined table. I needed the user to be able to specify the filters, and I needed to output something that was not the specific content of the table, but related to the table in anyway. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool hack. Check out this video. I bet the hack in here is even more epic. Go check it out. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.